Nowadays majority of the English learners are making the thing very much hard work and following this mistake which is not necessary for them, right? Which is memorizing the words. Yes, you heard me right. So here what happens is the English learners think about if they memorize the words and if they repeat the English words again and again, they feel like they will get the same words again and again in their conversation, right? So here it doesn't work like that. Why? Because some random words, if you try to learn like a vocabulary, they set some goals. I have to learn 5 to 10 words every single day, and they memorize the same words again and again, and they try to inculcate those words unnecessarily, even if there is a not need for that word in their conversation. They try to use that word forcefully, right? So how does it make sense? I am asking the question. So here memorizing the words and by hiding the words, by forcefully adding those words in our conversation, it doesn't make sense. So it doesn't mean we get very much fluency in our English, right? So of course, as a trying person, as a following some new techniques, as a beginner we all make some mistakes, but here making the and following only this rule in your English journey is completely waste of time, I would say. If you practice enough without relating to any kind of vocabulary, without adding such unnecessary words in your daily conversation, so it comes you very naturally. It has to come to you very naturally, right? So you don't you should not think about words, and you should not try to add those words forcefully in your regular conversation, right? So I hope you got my point, what I mean to say, right? So how does it come naturally in our conversation, and what are the rules and techniques we have to follow in our regular daily life, right? So if you ask the same question to me, I would say, see, instead of memorizing the words which you have learned uh, in your previous days, in your uh, and which you are learning regularly, so instead of doing that, just try to go with the flow, right? So whatever you it's come to your mind, it comes to your mind, so just stick to with that only, and stick just don't think like I have used the unnecessary word and I have used a wrong word here, right? So as a beginner, it's very common that we all can make mistakes, right? So there is no rule to you have to place this word only at this sentence, right? So it's not needful thing, right? So if you can understand, by forcefully, if you want to attach those unnecessary words in your conversation, it doesn't make sense at all, right? So instead of doing that, you can naturally move your conversation, right? So with the words which you have already known, right? So it's not about the creating critical vocabulary, it's not about learning vocabulary, right? It's about achieving fluency in English. Fluency is not equal to vocabulary, right? So it's not about how much vocabulary you know, so that much fluency you are and you can, so it doesn't make sense, right? So even with knowing few words, you can create healthy conversation with the people with speaking very fluent, right? So that's what I want to mean about, right? So just try to don't try to uh, waste your time by learning those unnecessary words, right? So which you can not which you don't even use those words in your conversation, right? So how does it make sense? And it drains your brain also, and you confuse a lot by thinking of those words, right? So of course it's better to achieve fluency, and it's better to learn new vocabulary, but it should be in some other way, right? So let's discuss those points in this video. but don't memorize the words unnecessarily, and don't repeat the words again and again, and don't forcefully inculcate those words in your conversation without then having necessity of that word in that particular conversation. So this is what all I wanted to say. So you might ask, so what's the actual process to learn new vocabulary in our regular daily English journey, right? So if you ask the same question to me, I would say whenever you're trying to read some books or newspapers or any novels, whenever you're trying to read, so just underline some new words which you can point out, right? So if you want to learn vocabulary to which will help you to achieve fluency in English, definitely you have to learn vocabulary, but it should be in a natural way, right? So here the point is, whenever you try to read some books or 1 or 2 pages, right? So just try to make reading as your habit. So while reading those pages, just try to underline some new words which you find, right? So which you find, which you don't know the meaning of it, and which you feel very new to you, right? So then you have to line out, you have to underline that word. So you don't need to memorize it. So just be it is, and whenever you find the same word again and again, then you will be able to remember the same word again, right? So then again you underline. So just after completion of your reading, just write down those words, which will become around 10 to 20 words will become, right? So just try to write those words on a page and know the meaning of it, right? That's it. Try to know the meaning of it, and you don't need to memorize those words again and again, and you don't need to stress yourself to remember those all words in your mind, right? It's almost impossible to you remember every single word, right? So by the context, you have to use that word in your conversation, right? So it obviously come to you very naturally, right? So at the starting days, in your beginning days, it's impossible to you to use very parse language and very much new words in your conversation. It's almost impossible, right? So you have to go with the conversation with the words which you already know, right? So learning vocabulary is quite easiest process, I would say, right? So if you have the habit of reading, that's it. You underline some words and know the meaning of it, and whenever you get that word again and again, you'll get to know the meaning of that word already. So somewhere if you forget the meaning of that word again, so you can again know the meaning of it, just it comes to you, right? So if you see the same word again and again, 5 to 10 times, your mind remembers it, right? By very naturally. So this is how it happens, right? So it's improving vocabulary doesn't mean you have to memorize the words again and again, right? So this is what all I wanted to say in this video. So I hope this video will help you to somehow. So just try to don't repeat this mistake again and again in your English fluency journey. So there are a lot of techniques and rules to follow in your regular daily life. Some techniques will help some of the people, and some English learners might not feel comfortable with the same techniques, right? So you have to figure out what is working for you exactly. So that's what I'm saying, because everybody is not with the same mindset. So everybody has their own uniqueness of learning, and their individuality shows. So it applies different from everybody, right? So this is what we want to say, okay? So this is what all I wanted to say in this video. So just try to follow it, and keep learning, keep practicing, and never stop speaking, okay?